Hey everyone, Zankus here, and today we have number 4 in our tribal series, the Dinosaurs. This is our last tribal deck we'll be doing, and I hope you enjoyed all of them, and let's get into it. So the mana base, we're going to have 23 lands. We're going to start with 8 forests, 7 mountains, 4 Rootbound Crags, which is they call the check lands. You have a mountain or forest in play, and it comes into play untapped. And the cycle lands, we have Sheltered Thicket for those. Alright, 1-cost spells, we have 3 Commune with the Dinosaurs. Commune with the Dinosaurs is basically a Ancient Stirrings, but for dinosaurs. So you're going to look at the top 5 cards of your library, you reveal a dinosaur or a land, and you put it into your hand. And then you put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. And you're going to do that for 1 green. It's a good way to find either land if you're hunting for lands or a dinosaur. We got 2 Reckless Rage. Reckless Rage is a 1-cost instant spell for 1 red mana. And it says, Reckless Rage deals 4 damage to target creature you don't control and 2 damage to target creature you do control. So this is a pretty decent removal. And it also is an engine for something like Enrage. So you could do 2 damage to, say, your Ripjaw Raptor and you draw a card. There's not much Enrage in this deck, but it's a little bonus. And plus, most of your creatures are going to be pretty big, so it's going to survive the 2 damage. So it's a decent removal. 2-cost spells will go Abrade, 1 generic, 1 red, instant, and deal 3 damage to target creature or destroy target artifact. It's a nice removal. Everybody plays Abrade. Pesky artifacts, get rid of them. We got 4 Drover of the Mighty. It costs 2. 1 generic, 1 green, and it is a human druid. It is not a dinosaur. There's a few non-dinosaur creatures, but everything helps the dinosaurs or is helped by the dinosaurs. So it's interaction, synergy. So it's a 2-cost 1/1. Also has tap to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, so a little ramp there. And it has Drover the Mighty gets +2/+2 as long as you control a dinosaur. So most of the time it's going to be a 3/3 for 2. So that's good value right there. Plus the mana ramp is nice. Otepec Huntmaster, we got 3 of those. It's 1 generic, 1 red. It's a 1/2 creature, human shaman, and dinosaur spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. That's kind of like redundant. Dinosaur spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. They could have just stopped at cost 1 less, but whatever. Tap, target dinosaur gains haste until end of turn, so that's a little more ramp and a little more aggro right there. Moving on to Thunderherd Migration. It's a sorcery for 1 generic, 1 green. Has an additional cost to cast Thunderherd Migration, reveal a dinosaur card from your hand, or pay 1. Search your library for basic land card, put it into the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. So it's a little ramp for bigger dinosaurs. And most of the time you're going to have a dino in your hand, so you just show it. You don't have to pay the extra 1. Moving on to our 3-cost spells, we have 3 copies of Deathgorge Scavenger. It's a 2 generic, 1 green dinosaur. It's a 3/2, and it has whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, you exile target card from the graveyard. Now, what happens depends on what you exile. If it's a creature card, you gain 2 life. If it's a non-creature card, you get +1/+1 until end of turn. So if you have one that comes into play and you discard something, most of the time you're going to grab 2 life, because the +1/+1 until end of turn wears off, and it has summoning sickness, unless you have the Huntmaster, which gives it haste. We have 1 copy of Rhonas the Indomitable. He's a god. He's a 5/5 for 3. 2 generic, 1 green. It has Death Touch Indestructible, but it can't attack or block unless you have a creature with power 4 or greater. With this deck, that's not a problem. A lot of creatures we have power of 4 or greater. It also has ability to give +2/+0 and trample for 2 generic, 1 green. We have one in the main board, Thrashing Brontodon. It's a 1 generic, 2 green. It's a dinosaur. It's a 3/4 plus. It's a Nature's Claim on the battlefield. Yeah. Naturalize would be a better comparison. So you just sacrifice them and destroy target artifact or enchantment. It's a body, and it's also a removal, so it's good. We got 4 copies of Ripjaw Raptor. As we mentioned earlier, it has Enrage. Whenever Ripjaw Raptor is dealt damage, draw a card. Card draw is great. It's one of the best things to have in a deck. I hate running out of cards. You have nothing in your hand. Top decking is not fun. So we have for 2 generic, 2 green, a 4/5, which is pretty decent in itself, but it has that Enrage trigger. We have 4 Regisaur Alphas. It's a dinosaur for 5, 3 generic, 1 red, 1 green. It's other dinosaurs you control have haste. So he doesn't have haste, but other dinosaurs you control have haste. But when it's put into the battlefield, you get a 3/3 green dino creature with trample. So he would have haste. So you get basically 7/7 of power for 5, plus the haste it's a pretty decent card. That's why I put 4. 2 Carnage Tyrants for 6. You get a 7/6 that can't be countered, trample, and hexproof. So if it gets down, which if you have the mana, it's going to get down because it can't be countered. It's going to stay there for a while. It's annoying unless they have a board wipe that doesn't target it specifically. It's staying around. So then we have 2 Ghalta Primal Hunger. For 12, you get a 12/12, but nobody's ever going to pay 12 for this creature. Ghalta's cost is cost X less, where X is the total power of creatures you control. As you can see, we got 4 4s, 4 5s, 7 6s, 3 4s. You get a couple of these out, you're paying 2, 3 at the most. You want to pay for this creature. So that's our main board. Our sideboard, we have 3 Blossoming Defense. This is for counter creature removal. So you just throw this down, gains hexproof, they can't target it, and you get the +2/+2 for 1 green. I think that's pretty good. Shaper's Sanctuary, we got 3 copies of that. It's 1 green enchantment. Whenever a creature you control becomes a target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. Like I said, I love drawing cards. More cards in your hand, more things for you to do, more ways to win. So, there you go. We have 3 Naturalizes. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. It's an instant speed for 2. Got another copy of Deathgorge Scavenger. If you're playing against a aggro deck or something like that, you want to get a little bit more life gain. That's why I threw that in there. Fiery Cannonade for 3, 2 generic, 1 red. Instant, you deal 2 damage to each non-pirate creature. So this is good for the merfolk, if you're playing against merfolk. Before they get too big, all the hexproof tokens, this will kill. It's not targeting any of them, so it will wipe them out pretty much 90% of the time. And then I put in 3 more copies of Thrashing Brontodon. If you feel Naturalize isn't good because you need bodies on the field also, throw this guy in. He's a great card. So let me know what you guys think. Any changes you would make, and let me know in the comments what next deck you would like to see me do a tech for. Anything, I'll throw it together and I'll explain why I did what I did. So, oh, and check out February's giveaway. Go over to that video, leave a comment, and win some cool cards. So, until next time.